Hey everybody, my name is Marcus Engel. It is an honor to be part of these modules to help bring some inspiration and some practical techniques to those of you who are doing this incredibly difficult work during this crisis. So if we have not met before, I am a professional speaker. I'm an author, I'm a healthcare consultant, and I'm also an adjunct professor at the University of Notre Dame, where I get to teach pre-meds. What I have been teaching around the country for the last 15 years or more is how presence is the cornerstone of caregiving. Much of that comes from my own personal background. When I was an 18-year-old college freshman, I was blinded and had every bone in my face crushed after a motor vehicle crash that was caused by a second-party drunk driver. The night that they rolled me into the emergency room, there was a 20-year-old patient care tech who saved my sanity just by holding my hand and repeating the two most compassionate words that I think any human being can say to another. As Jennifer held my hand that night, she just kept saying, "I'm here, I'm here." So what I always want to bring out to those of you, whether you're in operations or you're a clinical expert, what I want to bring out is that idea that presence, human presence, is the cornerstone of caregiving. And yet, during this time of COVID, it is so much more difficult because we simply cannot be as present as we want to be. Nurses and doctors feel like they're having to gown up extra, that they're in costumes, and it's all just to protect themselves. So we have hospitals that are limiting the number of visitors people can have and how long they can stay and who can be in the hospital at all. These are some of the things that are particularly sinister about this COVID virus is loved ones cannot be present during another person's illness. And that leaves a great amount of burden that is put on the healthcare professional to not only clinically take care of patients, but also to emotionally take care and maybe even spiritually take care. So the three techniques for staying present that I would love to see those who are either clinical or operational do, number one is be present. Actually be present. I'm hearing stories about how some nurses don't want to go into the rooms of COVID patients to risk exposure. Understandable, but we have to stay physically present. Second, another way to stay present is not just being there, but making sure that we get outside at least once or twice a day to interact with the natural environment. When you can lay your hand on grass or put your hand up to a tree, it gets us more, not just physically and tangibly connected with nature, but emotionally and mentally, we're much easier to ground ourselves during this time. And then lastly, the technique that I'd like to share with you during such a time is to remember who's in your support network. And I'd ask you to do this. I'd ask you to take both of your hands and lay them out either on the desk in front of you or on your lap, starting with your left finger, moving across to your right little finger, starting with your left little finger. Think of a person who's got your back. Who's got your back in a crisis? Is that a spouse? Is that a coworker? Is that a child or a parent or a sibling, a colleague? Name that person, put that person's name with each of your fingers all the way across to your right little finger. And then while your hands are still down, come back the opposite way and name off the people that you've got their back. Who do you have in your support network? Who are you supporting? Is that, again, your colleague or a coworker, or a spouse or a friend or a relative or a child or your patients? Who are you supporting during this time? When we have and we give our support to other individuals, it helps us stay more grounded and appreciative during these times of crisis. In summary, our number one, be like Jennifer. physically provide that presence to patients who are suffering. You can do that not just by actually standing by their bed, but using those words, "I'm here." Second technique I'd like to share is to get familiar with nature again. Go out into the environment, touch the grass, touch a tree, breathe the air, feel the air on your skin. It helps us stay grounded during these times of really, really high stress and hypervigilance. And then lastly, what I'd like to ask you to do is to really, really think about your support system and for those that you are the support system for. When we have a support system and when we are a support system for others, it makes getting through these kinds of these chaotic crisis moments, it makes everything go so much easier. Thank you all again for joining me. My name is Marcus Engel, and I look forward to seeing you during another module.